Hello everybody. This is a personal request from one of my family members to do a Warframe profile on Loki, or in this case, Loki Prime. We're going to be going over just a basic, quick profile of his abilities and the mods that I'm using, as well as the weapons that I'm using, which is Dread, Sonic Core, and Mios. Followed by one spy mission, medium level, and then we're going to do a 5-minute survival to show off his 4 abilities in action. So there we go. So with Loki Prime, I'm using the Corrosive Projection for the Aura slot. You can use Energy Siphon, or you can format out this for something different, but I prefer Corrosive Projection for the reduced enemy armor. I've got my Exo slot opened up with a fully maxed out Rush, which gives me an additional plus 30 sprint speed. Now onto the regular mods. We've got Redirection. I've got it ranked 7 out of 10, so it's giving me 320% additional shields. I've got a Primed Continuity at rank 6, which is giving me an additional plus 35% power duration. I've got Streamline maxed out, giving me plus 30% power efficiency. I've got a rank 8 out of 10 Narrow-Minded to give me plus 81% duration, minus 54% power range. I'm using Constitution, giving me plus 40% faster knockdown recovery and an additional 28% duration. I'm using Overextended, giving me plus 90% power range and minus 60% power strength. We're using Flow. You might be asking why I'm not using my Prime Flow. I just don't have the room for it yet till I forma. But with regular Flow at maxed out, we're getting plus 150% power max. And then my final mod is the Loki Augment for his number 4 ability, Radial Disarm. And as you can see on the screen, Radial Disarm Augment, enemies will be affected by radiation for 9 seconds. So they'll get confused and start attacking each other, as well as disarm them, putting them in melee range so we can kill them at a distance or make it to where they do less damage. So, as you can see, my power strength is only 40%. For my build, I'm a disarm Loki, so my strength is useless. Most of my kills are going to be from weapons anyway, and I'm built to be crowd control. My range is only 136%. It could be higher if I adjusted a few things, but that power range works just fine. Power efficiency is always good. Mine is only 130% just because of my streamline. I am not using fleeting expertise because I need the duration. That's why my duration is so high at 244%, so that I can stay invisible for longer. And at this point, my number 2 ability for invisibility runs me about 30 seconds, which lasts perfect for any kind of spy or sabotage mission. Alright, let's get into my weapons real quick. First, I'm using Dread. It has been formatted a few times. It's got quite a bit of damage, mostly slash. So starting out with the mods, I've got a rank 8 out of 10 Serration, giving me a plus 135% damage. I've got a rank 7 out of 10 Heavy Caliber, giving me plus 120% damage and minus 40% accuracy. I've got a Speed Trigger, maxed out, giving me plus 60% fire rate, multiplied by 2 for bows. I've got a maxed out Vial Acceleration, giving me plus 90% fire rate, times 2 for bows, and minus 15% damage. I've got a Fanged Fusillade, giving me 120% to slash damage, since this is a slash damage-based weapon. I've got a Vital Sense, maxed out, giving me plus 120% crit damage. I've got a maxed out Point Strike, giving me an additional 150% critical chance. And lastly, I have a Sawtooth Clip maxed out, giving me an additional plus 30% to my slash damage. Next weapon is going to be Sonic Core. My Sonic Core has been formatted 7 times for the Magnum Force build. My mods are not maxed out yet, but starting out, we've got Hornet Strike, giving me plus 180% damage at rank 8 out of 10. I've got Magnum Force, which is also rank 8 out of 10, giving me plus 54% damage and minus 27% accuracy. I then have Barrel Diffusion maxed out, giving me plus 120% multi-shot. My 4th mod is Lethal Torrent, which is maxed out, giving me plus 60% fire rate and plus 60% multi-shot. I then have pathogen rounds giving me plus 90% to extra toxin damage. I'm using convulsion giving me plus 90% extra electricity damage. I've got heated charge giving me plus 90% extra heat damage. And lastly, I've got concussion rounds giving me plus 60% to impact damage. And with this combination of elemental damage, I'm high on corrosive damage, as well as concussion rounds boosting up my impact damage. And final weapon, we have Mios, the Bone Whip sword. I'm using, obviously, Defiled Snapdragon, the best stance out there for it at the moment, which the stance gives me sudden lashes and lethal slashes, as well as its array of combos. So the mods starting out are Northwind at maxed, giving me plus 90% extra cold damage. Molten Impact, which is giving me plus 90% extra heat damage. And this combination is giving me blast damage, which will knock down the enemies. I then have Fever Strike, giving me plus 90% extra toxin damage. I have a rank 3 out of 5 Organ Shatter, giving me an additional 60% crit damage. Fury for the plus 30% attack speed. Berserker, giving me plus 30% attack speed bonus for 24 seconds on critical hit. I've got Pressure Point at maxed, giving me plus 120% melee damage. And most people, they keep their life strikes at usually rank 1 or 2, but I maxed mine out, giving myself plus 20% lifesteal, but minus 140% channeling efficiency while channeling. Not that big a deal, really. So, those are my weapons. That was Loki Prime. Let's go ahead and look at his abilities real quick. So, all my abilities are maxed, because I'm a maxed rank Loki. So, Decoy deploys a holographic copy of himself, drawing enemy fire. And at the moment, its power duration is at 61 seconds, or until his health drops to 0. Second ability, Invisibility. Loki camouflages himself, becoming invisible to enemies. And power duration, you can see right there, as I said, just under 30 seconds. His third ability is Switch Teleport. Loki instantaneously swaps positions with a target, confusing the enemy. His power range on a Switch Teleport is 102 meters. So if I set down my decoy, I can switch teleport with my decoy from 102 meters away. I can do this with allied members to keep them safe or to resurrect them if necessary, or I can do this with an enemy and get right into the fray if I'm doing melee combat. And then, my final ability, Radial Disarm, lets forth a wave of energy disrupting the projectile weapons of enemies in range and forcing them to revert to melee combat. Power range of this is 27.2 meters. Not the greatest, I know, but it is perfect for raiding and getting in close combat, and you get a little bit of damage out of it too. Alright, so let's get into the gameplay. Alright, we need to find us a medium-leveled spy mission. Let's not do Neptune. Let's go to Saturn. At 11:13, that'll work. We're going to do the spy mission with the faction Grineer on Saturn. I'm going to drop a couple energy restores here. Get my energy up to maximum before I start this. Also, just so you know, the Dread, the bow, since it is a silent weapon, that is perfect for Loki or any other Warframe that can go invisible because it produces no sound, which means the enemy cannot figure out where you are at. Like that. Just hack that console, pretty easy. I'm gonna go back invisible here. Alright, let's figure out where I need to go here. Ooh. And these spy missions are puzzles. Hacked another console. And we got our item. Now we get to go to Site B. Ooh, I think I went the wrong way. Whoop. That was my bad. Okay, I'm just not paying attention. And these consoles are relatively easy. Actually, not relatively, they really are easy. The higher you go, and then if you get into sortie missions, those consoles get pretty difficult. Oh, the alarm caught me, but I got the data. Oops. My jump got glitched. All data retrieved. And now we get to go to extraction. As I said, this was a really easy spy mission. But we're going to go on to a slightly more difficult survival mission. For argument's sake, we're going to go to Uranus. We're going to go to Cupid, which is survival, level 23 to 28, faction Grenier. In this one, I won't be using my Dread very much. I'll be using my Sonic Ore, as well as utilizing my 4 abilities, and we're going to go for about 5 minutes before we extract. Again, I'm going to drop some energy to refill up before we start. So in survival missions, every little bit we get one of those life supports, which if we get too low we need to use one to refill our oxygen. But at the same time, killing enemies drops little 4 to 5% little mini life supports that like that right there. And as you can see on my screen right now, I'm being hunted by one of the syndicates that I'm an enemy with, which is Cephalon Suda, which you can see there. They've all just decided to come out and play. So I'm going to radial disarm these guys. As you can see, my Sonic Ore is pretty powerful, so I wipe them out pretty quick. That blinking light means that I just killed the last of the syndicate that came after me. Alright, so on with the mission. This here is the life support. As you can see on the left side of my screen, my life support is down to 78%, and it will keep dropping. And I have to refill it with those. Alright, we're going to drop ourselves a decoy here. As you can see, he did not last very long against these high-level enemies. But he does draw them in. I'm going to use my switch teleport on him. Teleports me to his spot. If I use it on an enemy, it switches my position with him. And as I am solo, I can't use it on any party members. Generally, I won't pop one of these life supports unless I get down to about 25-30%, but I'm going to use one right now. Alright, you can see these enemies have their guns out. We're going to radial disarm them. And now they've changed to melee, and they're attacking each other based on my radiation damage from the augment. Let's go and drop a decoy. Saves me a little trouble to hurt them if they do it to themselves. Oh, and I forgot to mention, these life supports, they refill 30% of oxygen. And as I said before, the little ones refill about 4 to 5%. As you can see, for the most part, I'm staying invisible, as my mods on Loki are not really equipped to increase my shield or health. This is my defensive tactic, is to stay invisible, which is why my duration is so high. Loki can be built to be a mock tank, as you might call him, but I prefer the stealthy side to him. Alright, as you saw with the reward on the left-hand side of my screen pop up, means I'm now able to extract. Every 5 minutes you get a new reward in a survival mission. But we're going to go ahead and extract right now. These are all my rewards that I got for all the enemies I killed, as well as the cash. Alright, and that is my profile of Loki. I know I ramble on a bit, and I will try to improve upon that in future videos, but since my first video, can't be helped. So, have fun, and I'll see you in the void.